Good evening. So apparently, Washington has discovered a brand new crisis threatening American democracy. No, not inflation, not border crisis, not national debt racing past $35 trillion, not even the US-Iran war. No, the newest emergency is making sure American citizens vote in American elections. Yes, that's right. Because this week, Senate Majority Leader John Thune is bringing the Save America Act to the Senate floor. Legislation designed to require proof of citizenship when registering to vote in a federal election. And judging by the reaction from the Democrat leaders, you would think the bill requires voters to produce a DNA sample, their kindergarten report card, and the name of George Washington's horse. But no, the Save America Act requires proof of citizenship and voter identification, which for most Americans means showing the same kind of documents you already need every day: a passport, a birth certificate, a naturalization papers. Radical stuff, apparently. Let's review the Save America Act actually does, because the political debate around the bill has been, shall we say, creatively interpreted. The legislation requires documents proof of U.S. citizenship when registered to vote in a federal election. That could include a U.S. passport, a birth certificate, or neutralization documents. It also reinforces voter identification requires when the casting ballots in federal election. That's it. No secret voter purge, no mass deportation squad at the polling station, just verifying that people voting in the federal election are American citizens, which is already what the law requires. But Democrat leaders are fiercely opposing the bill. Why? They argue the requiring documents could create barriers to certain voters. They say some Americans may not have immediate access to records like birth certificates and passports. They also argue that the stricter election verification laws could discourage participants. And recently, Democrat officials have raised different concerns. They claim immigration enforcement could somehow become involved in the election. Some Democrat lawmakers and state governments are even proposing laws banning ICE agents from operating near polling places, saying that their presence could intimidate voters. Let's pause there for a moment, because this is where the debate starts getting very interesting. Democrat leaders say ICE agents near poll places could scare people away from voting. In fact, several Democrat-led states are now moving to block federal immigration agents from operating near polling locations, citing fears of voters' intimidation. But here's the awkward reality. The federal government has already said there are no formal plans to deploy ICE agents to polling sites. So the argument is essentially this: we must ban something that isn't even planned, because it might hypothetically happen someday. Okay. But here's the question many Americans are now asking. If only U.S. citizens are legally allowed to vote in federal elections, why would the presence of immigration enforcement anywhere near a polling location be considered a problem? After all, immigration enforcement agents deal with immigrant violations, not voter records. And federal law already say non-citizens cannot vote in federal election. So logistically speaking, if everyone voting is legally eligible, what exactly is the concern? I think most Americans can connect the dots. Now, let's be honest about what really is happening here. The Save America Act has become a political battlefield. Republicans are arguing that verifying citizenship is a basic safeguard for election integrity. Democrats are arguing that the bill could discourage participants, creating a bureaucratic hurdle. And because of the Senate filibuster, Democrats may be able to block legislation entirely, which means the debate may not end with the vote. In fact, this fight is likely heading straight to 2026 midterm election. At the end of the day, this debate boils down to a very simple question. Should the United States require proof of citizenship when someone registers to vote in a federal election? Most countries already do. Most Americans assume we already do. And yet, in Washington, the idea has triggered one of the biggest political fight of the year. Republicans say the bill protects the integrity of the election. Democrats say it risks discouraging voters. But one thing is certain. The Save America Act is forcing every elected official in Washington to answer a very straightforward question. Do you support verifying citizenship before someone votes or not? So when the Senate votes on the Save America Act this week, the outcome may still be uncertain, but the debate itself, that's going to be crystal clear because this issue isn't going away anytime soon. And voters across the country, they will be paying very close attention to who stands where. For Englebrook Independent News, I'm Haley Ficuciello, and that's tonight's commentary.